Well, hello, boys and girls. It's when I feel like it o'clock. I'm Pearl of Wisdom, and you're listening to my NHL Pearls of Wisdom. Here's pearls. I had them prepared for already. Helen, we got a backlog of pearls with all this social distancing, coronavirus stuff. Tons of them. So if you want more, just... There we go. We're working on some coronavirus killing pearls, but we have our resident scientist checking in on it right now. Anyways, I have lots of time, so I don't know if anybody's going to watch this stuff, but whatever. I'm just having fun anyways, right? That's what it's all about, just having fun. And what I thought I would do is I'm going to might as well look at next year. I do believe there will be playoffs and there'll be a regular season. And when they come up, I'll do videos on that. But until then, this is the kind of stuff I used to do. If you go into in the archives of the Pearls of Wisdom, you can see what I used to do, mostly, not necessarily picks and stuff. I did more talking about each team and stuff like that. And I just feel like doing it. So I'm going to do it. I'm going to start off with the Arizona Coyotes. And what this is basically about is what I would do if I was. And hopefully from watching my videos, you've come to the realization that I have I've spent a lot of time in my life studying the game and learning about the game. And if you go into my archives, you'll also see that a lot of the predictions that I did for the seasons and for what teams are going to do and stuff were very accurate. So I'm going to continue doing that now. I'm starting off with the Arizona Coyotes because not too many care about them, but real, actual big hockey fans, and if you're not, that's okay. I'm not putting you down. Will. And this is what really this is for. If you're a huge hockey fan, you can banter in the comment section. Please, in social distancing time, I really need your connection. That's really why I'm doing this. So let's look at the Arizona Coyotes and what they're going to do next year or in the future in general. Well, to tell you the honest truth, it doesn't look good. I'm on Cap Friendly right now. I'm looking at their depth chart and what they're paying people and their cap room. They have virtually no cap room whatsoever. They do have Marian Hossa at 5.275 on a long-term injury reserve. So that gives them an extra $5 million on their cap. Their actual cap space, I believe, is $3 million right now, but it's spurious because they have a lot of things coming up that's going to affect that. First thing most people are going to want to know is, are they going to re-sign Hall? Well, they're going to try, I'm sure. And I'll get into that as we go here. One of the biggest mistakes they've made was getting Phil Kessel. That was a terrible trade. Phil Kessel has been known a lot around the league. And it's not just some rumor. I've heard, I have Sirius Radio, and you've heard many players say that Phil Kessel was frustrating because he would go on the summer and go fishing and wouldn't even get on the ice. And this was the captain of the Toronto Maple Leafs for a while. Imagine that. So he wasn't much for conditioning. He's 32 years old. He's making $6.8 million a year. And as you can tell last year, it certainly looks like he's starting to go on the downside. And they have him for 3 more years. Known for his attitude problems. Him and Malkin didn't get along. Him and a lot of players didn't get along. And here he is now in Arizona. So have fun with that. Eating a lot of cap space. Derek Stepan, who they picked up from the Rangers, they gave up D'Angelo for that. Yes, they did. As far as I'm concerned, of what I'm going to do, if it's me, Shaka is gone. First and foremost, he's gone. If you look at his work that he's done up until now, it's been porous, to tell you the honest truth. That trade, giving up D'Angelo for Derek Stepan, there was other players in the works. But Stepan is no more than a third-line center at this point. He's 29 years old, and they got him for $6.5 million for now until next year. He comes off the books after next year. Carl Soderberg, don't have to re-sign him. Probably shouldn't re-sign him now. Maybe have to because they have no centers. They might be able to get him for a little less, like somewhere around $3 million for one more year. Sure, do it up. Not a bad third-line center. Christian Dvorak. Signed him early at $4.5 million. We're hoping for more offense. Actually, I thought he would have more offense. What you're going to see as a theme here is they have a lot of really good third-line centers. Dvorak is actually a really good third-line center, plays both ends of the ice very well. Carl Soderberg, good third-line center, even on his later in his career. The next one they have is Nick Schmaltz, who they signed for $5.8 for eternity. And he's not a bad center. You could actually play him as a second-line center. 5.8 is all the money right now, but down the road, if he can stay at this production and be that, it's actually not a bad signing. But it's not a number one center. So as you can see as we do this, and by the way, all these players a lot of them play wing as well. Carl Soderberg plays left wing. They can mix and match these players. Not too bad. The problem is Lawson Crouse. Good signing. Signed for $1.5 million. I'd be playing him higher up the lineup this year. So you can possibly not have to sign a guy like Carl Soderberg if, in fact, we're going to sign Hull. Brad Richardson, can't sign him. They got some guys in the minors that might be able to come up and fill out some roles, like Braden Burke. Jan Yannick had a fantastic year in junior. He's 19 years old, plays center. I don't think you want to play him next year, but they may have to give him a shot. Cross your fingers that he can play at a decent level, because that would solve a lot of the problems we're about to run into right here. Vinny Hinostroza, he's a restricted free agent. Love the guy, hardworking guy, but if he's not going to come at the same at 1.5, and I doubt he will, I would probably try to trade him off, get some draft picks. The big problem here, and this is by the way more on the winger side, is Clayton Keller. Clayton Keller, Shaka, the general manager, likes to sign players young early and believe in them and hope they're going to work out. They signed him to $7.5 million for a very long time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 years, and then it goes off the board at 7.15. Or 0.15. And as of right now, if you look at this year, it's not showing too well. However, if they were to get a number one center somehow, they might be able to. I think he would play a lot better. They have a lot of players that play the same way. They have a lot of small players. That's why I said that Lawson Crouse should play higher in the lineup. Nice big guy, can put up some decent offense. Play on your second line. Probably not the best spot for him. With this lineup, it probably is the only spot for him. So the thing is, you're going to give Clayton Keller $7 million next year. You've got Christian Fischer and Connor Garland. Connor Garland is under a nice contract at 7.75. Keep him around. Excellent. He can put up 30 goals. One of the better in the lineup. Christian Fischer is a fourth liner. Give him 7.5. Now, if you do all this, if you give him seven league minimum, if you do all this, you got about maybe 6 or 7 million in the coffers to work with. On defense, they have Ekman Larson at $8 million, 28 years old. Probably want to keep him around as you build. He'll probably be good till he's 35 years old. Alex Goligoski's 34. One more year at 5.5, not bad. Keep him around until he's a UFA. Nick Hjalmarsson, same thing. good, solid defensive defensemen. They actually have a really good defense. Jason Demers is starting to fall off already at 31. He's only got one more year at $4 million. And then Jordan Osterley, who I think Chayka did a really good job getting at $1.4 million for the next 2 years. Ilya Lyabushkin, you can probably keep him at league minimum. All of that, not bad. The problem is you got to find more space if you're going to get Hall signed. Do I think they should sign Hall? If they can, honestly, I think Hall is planning on going back to Alberta and is going to use the Coyotes to get as much as they can to do it. Calgary is all over it. I think that's likely where he's going to end up, and they're not going to be able to sign him anyways. So, if that's the case, if we don't sign Hall, you've got Antti Ranta and Darcy Kemper next year going at $4 million apiece. Quite simply, Ranta has to go. I mean, in 2021-22 or at the end of 2020-21, there's going to be an expansion draft for Seattle. You got to give up one goaltender. You certainly don't want to lose Ranta for nothing. You've got Aiden Hill there that can fill in the backup role. We can trade Antti Ranta. Unfortunately, goaltenders generally don't bring much return. But maybe, if you can trade Antti Ranta, maybe a guy like Nicholas Hjalmarsson, a lot of teams would love to have a guy like that. They have a guy called Kobienko in minors who fared fairly well last year. You're probably not going to be able to sign Hjalmarsson after next year anyways. If you package him, Antti Ranta, and first round pick, which you don't have, like next year's first round pick, maybe you might be able to get a center that can close number one, but probably not. The fact of the matter is they're going to have to get stuff off the books to sign Hall, and either way, I would take it off the books anyways. Try to go in the free agent market and fill some holes. Basically, what I'm saying is next year has to be a wash, and for Arizona, that just doesn't work. They've got ownership that's like, got to make the playoffs. That's why when they said, when everybody was talking about Hall going to Colorado, if you knew my past videos, I said, no way, he's going to Arizona. Because Arizona is desperate. Colorado had a lineup that was going to make the playoffs and even could win the cup as it was. I didn't think that Joe Sakic was going to go and give a whole bunch of youth and first round pick that he could use to keep recycling his players in this cap world, which is very important, for a one-time thing that may not even put him over the top, as they probably were already okay as it was. So anyways, I'm thinking that they're not likely going to be able to sign Hall. Next year will likely have to be a wash. There's going to be a practically tank is what I would think would be best, although I know ownership is not going to want that to happen. And then the following year, you're going to have no Soderberg on the books. You're going to have no Michael Grabner on the books. I didn't even mention Michael Grabner. If you can find a way to trade him and free some more money on the books, that'd be great. But he had a really bad year. You're probably stuck with him next year as well. Then you will have Alex Goligoski off the books, Nicholas Hjalmarsson off the books, if you haven't already traded him. Jason Demers off the books. You got a whole lot of stuff coming off the books on the following year. And the big and most important one, Derek Stepan off the books, $6.5 million. Then you go get your number one center. If we can find a way to find the space, I would say, yeah, get Hall tied up at $10 million a year or something like that. Then use that to get a number one center. Start slowly filling out your roster. But I'm sorry, Arizona fans, things aren't looking good. Most of these things have been happening. Most of the decisions here have been happening out of desperation, because this team needs to make the playoffs every year to be viable. I hope that they don't lose their team. I really don't. And I hope Shaka's got a plan, because what I see here is a whole lot of Ouch. Well, that's my full 42%. Anyways, before I go on, what I would do is tank next year, get as high a draft pick as you can, fill in that roster the following year, and then you can go for it. Hopefully you haven't lost your team by then. That's my full 42%, boys and girls. Have a great day. Lots of love to you.